Hello and welcome. Welcome to the first episode of Do You Even Laugh? Yes, so my name is Tony Capobianco. I have been a stand-up comedian in the Boston area for 6 years. And yeah, I've been thinking about doing this whole podcast thing for years, but never really amounted to doing any of it. But you know what? I feel like, it's about time. Yeah, it was on my New Year's resolutions list, and we'll get to those in a minute. But I feel like the whole point of this podcast is just to talk back and forth with a few other New England comics while shooting the shit and just learning to let go and not give a fuck. Because I feel like that's a very vital way to acquire any sort of happiness right now. Now, when I say don't give a fuck, I don't mean like just write off everything. That'll turn into a sociopath. I'm saying just let go of shit that has nothing to do with you. I feel like that is the best part. So not giving a fuck is going to be like the main theme of this podcast, and just learn to laugh a little bit more. Because like we're so high strung now. Like everybody's just at each other's throats over nothing, especially over social media, because like as divided as we are, we'll just bite each other's necks off over the dumbest thing. Like so-and-so said this during this interview. Then you scroll down to see 40 to 50 just awful, evil, hateful comments. Because we all know damn well that none of these people have the balls to say in real life. So they just got to do it from the safety of their computers and their iPhones. And that's going to be one of the most beautiful things about this podcast is we are not going to get into politics for a few reasons. One, I don't know the first thing about it. Like I'm all about for spewing dumb and ignorant opinions, but I'm not going to stand up here with like some sort of platform and just act like I know what I'm talking about, because I do not know the first thing about legislation or foreign policy. It's like, oh, so-and-so said this in an interview, or can you believe Trump did this, or can you believe, this senator did that? I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I never studied for this part of the quiz. So like, is this part even necessary? Like, do we have to pay attention to this? I'm like, some people will argue, it's like, oh, it's important to be informed. I'm like, oh, well, have fun with that, because you are just the poster boy of joy and happiness right now. Because you ever see somebody who's so enthralled with politics and just see how completely stressed out they are? They'll like waterboard you with all these, political memes and always find a way to slip it into like some conversation at a party. Like I don't need any of that in my life, because I feel like it's gone the way of cult at this point. Because like I'm a little more religious than I am political. Like something's up where a religious person tells a political person that they need to think for themselves, because that's how it is, I think, right now. So yeah, we're not going to get into that, nowhere near any of it, because it doesn't serve anybody any purpose right now. You can go on other podcasts where they will happily talk about the news and politics, but it's not going to be here. Because here we're just going to talk about penis jokes and protein shakes. Or sometimes both. So, a little background info on me. I mentioned before, I have been a stand-up comic in the Boston area for about 6 years, and oh my god, I fucking love stand-up. I really do. Because I've always wanted to do stand-up ever since I was like about maybe 15 years old, when I was watching all these Comedy Central Presents specials with all like the half-hour specials. And watching them, I couldn't help thinking how much fun all those people are having up there on stage. They're just center of attention, making people laugh over just anything. I mean, some of the first ones that come to mind are like Ron White, what are Bill Burr's early ones, the Dane Cook famous one. That a lot of people give shit for Dane Cook because he's just out of the box. He's his own thing. He doesn't really follow the regular comedy formula, and he's fucking hilarious. So many years later, I'd say I was about, I just turned 25, and it was a New Year's resolution that I would do comedy. Because I shelved it for like 10, 11 years. I'm like, you know what? I am going to do it this time. Because I really give a damn. I really want to do this. And 6 years later, my God, a lot has happened in the last 6 years. I mean, I won't go through all this. I don't want to sound so humble braggy, but I'll give you a few career highlights. About a year ago, I got to open at the Wilbur Theater, which for anybody around the Boston area that does comedy, that is like a crown jewel. And I opened for Preacher Lawson, who is, just killing it on America's Got Talent. I mean, Preacher is like a mix between Brian Regan and Kevin Hart. Yeah, because he's like very animated and he is clean, which a lot of people think is hard, but honestly, I don't really think. I mean, you don't have to always resort to poop jokes and it's like, hey, this girl's pussy, rah, rah, rah. So you don't always have to go down that road because other than that, the lane is wide open to talk about literally anything. So I met Preacher. He came into the station I worked at, and we were talking comedy, and I eventually told him I did stand up because here's the thing, though. I mean, this is just how I feel about it, is I'm not usually a fan of telling, more people, other comedians or more further in their careers that I do it too, mainly because it feels like it comes off as too kiss-assy, and I don't want to do that. I feel like I want to earn. I feel like that's how it should be, is you got to earn your way. Like, your efforts are reflective of your results. But I know we were talking, and he asked me, hey, you want to do a spot? I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes clean? He's like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, where, Laugh Boston? He's like, no, the Wilbur. I'm like, what? And right after that, I'm like, oh my God, do I have 5 minutes clean? Oh my God, do I even have 5 minutes? So, and now I gotta tell you, I was freaking out for the 3 days leading up to that show. And I mean, I barely told anybody. I told my parents and one of the guys from work, and that was it. And I gotta tell you, what was so cool about that theater was, for one, it was sold out. That's how big of a deal Preacher is. So it was sold out, 1,100 people. I did my 5 in. When you do, when your joke lands, you can actually hear the laughter go all the way from the front to all the way back to the room and then come back to you. So it kind of offsets your timing a little bit, but that was a new sensation I have never heard before. So that's definitely one I'm happy to gloat about. God, I told myself I wouldn't do that, but here we are. Other highlights, definitely without a doubt one of my favorites. I've performed twice for the Army National Guard and once for the Air Force. And is any comedian who listens to this who has ever done a VFW or any show involving veterans and members of the military, they know that those guys are without a doubt the best audiences, at least in my opinion. Because, I was talking about not giving a fuck. Those guys do not give a fuck. Mainly because, I can't remember off the top of my head. It was the 238th, Unit 238. That's what I'm going to go with right now. I'm sure I have the things hanging up in my office. But, the guys from the Army National Guard unit I performed for, these guys, they spend 10 hours outside doing all these training drills, lugging equipment. With 50 pounds of gear strapped to their backs and just killing themselves, pulling their bodies through hell for our sake. So me dropping a few dick jokes is the least I could do. And for the amount of hell those guys put themselves through, and they are happy to laugh at anything. I wouldn't say anything, but those guys are ready to laugh, and they will let you know how appreciative they are. So, yeah. So shout out to the vets. I really mean that. A lot of people, it's oh, shout out to, I feel like still some people can be a little pandery, but unless they have like firsthand experience, like talking to these people, they know that's like, I feel like a good way to understand what kind of sacrifice they're putting on. Like what level of, like a sense of duty for the sake of your country and, you know, the people in it. I feel like that's something very admirable. And it's because of that, or one day, I don't know when or how, but I would love to do a USO show. I really would. Because, I mean, to have the opportunity to go to them and just make them laugh for a little while. Because, like, whenever I imagine, like, a USO show, I always think Robin Williams, God rest his soul, doing stand-up for him. And then some trumpet. What was it? It was, it sounded like they were calling the cavalry, but everybody in the audience stood up and turned their backs to Robin Williams, and he didn't say anything. Like they knew somewhat. They knew like something was happening, and Robin Williams, he just kind of went along with it. But I think it was funny how like he just rolled with it, because as soon as like the song was done, they all sat down, they did little hurrahs, and Robin Williams was like, well, never gonna forget that. I mean, it's like that was like the first time Robin Williams ever had an audience completely all stand up together and turn their backs to the comedian. And obviously they didn't mean any disrespect. It was just like something they were supposed to do. But, you know, from his perspective, I mean, that was just fucking hilarious. So, yeah. I mean, ever since I saw clips of that and other USO tours, I'm like, I would love to be able to do something like that, because, you know, like we try to be appreciative to vets and military members back here at home, but, you know, I think it says a lot if you're willing to go out there and bring the show to them. So that's something I really want to do. You know, I can put that under my New Year's resolutions. And speaking of which, let's get down to those. So it's February right now, so definitely a good way to get a jump on your New Year's resolutions. So I have about 10 of them right here. Number one, start the podcast. Originally, I was thinking about calling it Killing It. Just I would bring on comedians who are quote-unquote killing it right now. But, you know, I didn't really feel that strongly about it. Plus, I feel like it would get a lot of blowback from people who want all those serial killer podcasts, which for some reason are a lot of them. I don't know why we're so like fascinated by serial killers. They're like rock stars of murder. So I don't know like what everybody's fascination is with that. So check that one off the list. Get below 200 pounds. Now, here's the thing. I'm a big guy. I'm long muscle, and I guess the right term is endomorph, where you have like a wide back and wide, broad shoulders. And what's interesting is nobody else in my family is built like this. Like I am like, I guess some sort of mutant. Like I look like a silverback gorilla raised by a bunch of squirrel monkeys. So anyway, get below 200 pounds. Definitely try to lean out. I mean, still pack on as much muscle as I can, but you know, getting below 200, it'll, like, you know, burn a little extra fat, remove some more of that flub around because like the tire around your belly is always the hardest part. And a lot of what I've been doing now is in combination with taking supplements from steel supplements, main one being Shredded AF, which has got to be like, you know, they didn't take long in that meeting to name that supplement, like Shredded AF. All right, moving on. Good one, Johnson. So, yeah, I've been doing that. So, combination of supplements, and I've been going like half vegan, which, you know, just makes me smug. No, like what I've been doing is, like I just have a bunch of salads. You know, I just have like a spinach salad with a few like carrots and shredded almonds and like a strawberry vinaigrette, and yeah, that's lunch 1 and 2. And honestly, it's not that hard. I mean, I still have like, you know, plus I'm not gonna give up meat. Out of your mind. I mean, hell, I had like scrambled eggs this morning. I make like an omelet almost every morning. But no, it definitely helps when you just watch what you eat, because that's like 90% of what you weigh anyway. The rest of it is just like the amount of effort you push at the gym. But yeah, I'd say like 80% of what you are what you eat. I mean, can't really get any more literal than that. All right, next thing on the list is perform at Giggles Comedy Club. Now, I mean, if those of you who have never been to Giggles, my God, you are missing out big time. I mean, Giggles is like sacred ground around here because, I mean, it's such a rich history, and a lot of the comics they put up there, they are there for a reason, all right? They don't just get some any open micer schmuck who's been doing it for like 3 years, all right? They actually put people up there who have, honest to God, put their time in, got those laughs, and earned that spot. And that is something I am determined to do by the end of the year. Plus, I mean, a lot of the people on that I plan on having on this podcast anyway. I mean, Lenny Clark, Dave Russo, Christine Hurley, that whole slew of comics up there who are like the Mount Rushmore of Boston comedians here. Because like they are just stone cold killers. I mean, they make it look so easy because they can just rattle them off one after another, and then you go to some open mic, it's like ha 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 ha. Like they just like saw death for the first time. So obviously, yeah, I'm definitely intent on trying to get there at some point this year. Number 4, go to California. I mean, I've flown there, just stay at the airport. And I think when I was in middle school, I went to San Francisco with my dad for a week. But other than that, I really haven't been there. But a lot of my friends out there who have gone out there for either film or for comedy, it's a completely different monster than it is here. I mean, mainly because I have no idea what it is like. I don't. I mean, I feel like, the Hollywood, LA area would just be just disgustingly fake, even though I have no idea. I have no idea to back that up. Other than the fact that I've heard it in like other songs like Looking Glass by Stone Sour and Anima by Tool, who just emphasize the level of fakeness and just, I don't know. I feel like I want to experience it for myself. Just so I know, because whenever I think Hollywood, I just think, I mean, especially now how it's crumbling, I mean, I feel like that's a good thing. I really do, because like whenever I think Hollywood and LA and just pop culture, it's just like, just Hollywood vomit. It's just, all I think of just Kim Kardashian and, like just happy, sparkly talk shows. Like, oh, God. Like everybody's always this smiley. Everybody's teeth are that white. Get out of here. Yeah, you're like 45 and you look pristine. Like you've been dipped in Vaseline your whole life. Get out of here. I'm not buying it. So, obviously I want to go out there for comedy, but also just see Hollywood like if it really is the sideshow I think it is. And if not, it'll be a learning experience either way. Number 5, more tattoos. Now, I already have a sleeve going on my right arm, and I'm really happy the way this turned out. So, next appointment is until July, and shout out to my guy, Thuy and Tran, over at Timeless Inc. in Everett, because that guy, I mean, you get what you pay for with that guy. I mean, yeah, he charges, I forget what he charges, but it's no pretty penny, but you get what you pay for. They actually have like a little side-by-side comparison up in like the lobby of the shop, where you see like 2 lions. One is just gorgeous. I mean, it looked like it was something straight out of like a photograph. Like that's how real it looked. And then the other one, it looked like a 3rd grader drew it with their left hand. Like it was just fucking awful. Like so the one on the left, the good one, that costs like, I don't know, $1,800. And the one on the right, $50. So you get what you pay for. And what I like about my guy Thuy is you can come in with like, some idea of your own, and then you just kind of plant the seeds, and then he'll just come up with this grand new idea, which is like 10 times better than what you had in mind. So, like as adamant, as strong as you think your idea is, Leave it up to the artist. Trust the artist. They know what they're doing, especially if they put the time in like Tuyin has. And you will be happy with what you get. Trust me. So on my right arm right now, I have like this whole Holy Trinity Catholic sleeve. I have like, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And then on my kind of like on my elbow, forearm, is a Holy Eucharist. And I was a little hesitant about that. But then when I saw like the amount of detail he punched in, my God, he was good. And he was right. I was a little like, do I want that on me? But then when I saw it for real, like when he put the stencil on, like, oh God, this is going to look kick-ass. Oh my God, it's going to look so good. So, and if those of you who've never been tattooed, people always ask, does it hurt? Yeah, it does. I mean, all of it really depends on where you're getting tattooed, because like some places have like more nerve endings than others. So if you get, something on the forearm, it's probably not gonna hurt as much. But if you get something in the armpit like I did, holy shit, because that I experienced like a new sensation of pain when I went through that, because I could like picture like some sort of like line graph of like my pain threshold just spiking through the roof and just plateauing like that. It just stayed that painful every time the needle was in my armpit. So, hey, if you ever plan on getting a sleeve down there, at least I'm giving you a heads up where it's going to hurt. Because other places, I got to tell you, some places like I didn't even feel it. I mean, I felt it, but it didn't really hurt. I actually fell asleep a couple times. That's how, like, it was just really, felt like more irritating than painful in some places. And in some places, it actually started to feel a little good. I mean, that actually says a lot about like what, like different parts of your body. Because like if you got like a tattoo machine just hammering away in your skin with a sharp as hell needle, and you feel like you're just like in some sort of like BDSM moment. It's like, oh my God, that hurts so good. Like you feel like you need a ball gag at some point. So, yeah, like, I mean, if you ever plan on getting a tattoo, obviously, do your homework, look around, find an artist that has like a style that you're into, and, hit them up and trust the artist. I can't emphasize that part enough. Trust the artist, because it doesn't matter what kind of like, brilliant idea you think you have. They have the artistry and the logic to know what will work. So trust your artist. And I'm still toying around with a few ideas for my half sleeve on my left arm. I think what I want to try to do is I want to try to get this big like badass owl, because there's this artist named Alexis Vatati or something. Like he's on Instagram. He's famous for doing all these big badass like owl pieces under like he calls them the Owl King series. And I thought that was such an awesome idea because, well, for one, I'm not saying owls are my spirit animal, but it's always been like, ever since I was a kid, like the owls have just been everywhere. And I'm sure there's a little deeper symbolism, which I can get into later when I decide to get it, because my next appointment's not until July of this year. But yeah, so definitely that. And how like they have the owls have those big piercing eyes. So I want to have that, except I want the eyes to be on fire. Oh, who knows? Maybe it'll work. I mean, I think it would work, but I'm going to listen to what Teen says, and we'll find a design that actually works. And what I like to do is, like, I would like to push him as an artist. That's why, because I'm not trying to sound like a hardo everywhere on everything I do. I mean, like, God, I walked outside. I walked to the gym in like 15-degree weather, snowing and in shorts. So I'm not like, a glutton for pain, but part of me is like, no pain, no gain. But as far as pushing yourself, I love pushing to you, and just so he can like dig deep and, further his, I guess, artistry and his fortitude and So yeah, like next appointment's not until July of this year, so we'll definitely excited to see about that. And yeah, it's only a half sleeve, so it'll only be 3 appointments, and I cannot wait. Next one on the list, see Judas Priest live. Okay, now I'm a huge like rock and metal head. I fucking love Judas Priest, and like their new album Firepower is like, oh my god. The second I downloaded it, I listened to nothing that whole weekend. I mean, it was like almost like a direct sequel from Painkiller. Because like Firepower, it's like wow, like you forget like Rob Halford, that dude is like 68 years old, and he has that kind of voice. So, and with the amount of bands out there that keep dropping off, or like stop touring or break up or just retire. I mean, you want to see them while you can. So, I'm gonna be seeing Judas Priest, I think in August. Or May. I don't know. I have to look at my calendar again. But I'm very excited about that. Attend at least 5 concerts, so that's going to be 1, obviously. And I want to see concerts of bands I have never been to before. I mean, I've seen like the Foo Fighters a few times. I've seen Aerosmith. But I want to see like newer artists. I want to see like newer artists out there who are like on the rise, and who could be like the next wave of bands to pick up the mantle for rock and metal. And I will say, like, one of the best ones I saw, I'd say within the last year or 2, were Highly Suspect. I mean, it's just like 3 guys, they're from the Cape, and next thing they know, a few years after moving to New York, they get nominated for Grammys, and they're up against like Metallica and Muse. So yeah, those guys, when they came around here, like, wow. I mean, that was they know how to put on a show. I mean, it was when I say it was shoulder to shoulder packed, that was an understatement. Because my God, I mean Jonny Stevens, who is like lead singer and guitar, that guy can fucking sing, and he can fucking shred like nobody's business. And the twins, Rich and Ryan, it kind of makes me upset. Seeing how talented somebody is. Do you ever see that? Do you ever feel that way? How you see somebody within your age range, and they are 11 billion times more successful and talented than you, even if it's in a realm that has nothing to do with you. Like I used to play bass guitar, but that was because of feeling the residue effects of Guitar Hero. Like, why would you want to play bass? That's their first choice. But after seeing those guys, like, wow, these guys are going to give them a few years. These guys, Dorothy, Greta Van Fleet, Red Sun Rising, all these new bands, they're going to take over. And I'm really excited to see all of them. Let's see now. Number 8. Do a 30-minute set. Yeah, I've definitely accumulated the minutes, and, some people, I mean, a 30-minute set sounds great, but you want quality over quantity. So I'd rather have like a solid 10 than a mediocre 30. Because if I go up there and do like a mediocre 30-minute set, that would just be full of like just meh or jokes, then I don't want that. I don't want 30 minutes of meh. I'd rather trade 30 minutes of meh for 10 minutes of, oh my God, that was fucking awesome. That is what I want. So I would rather have 30 minutes of fucking awesome. That's what I'm going to try to do for this year. So that's number 8. Number 9, do first comedy festival. I am a little hesitant, admittedly, about comedy festivals, mainly because they seem like a cash grab, almost like a scam. And if you don't check enough boxes, then, why they even need you. I mean, there are only so many like generic white guy spots, and you want to try have as much diversity as possible. So we'll see. I mean, if I'm gonna submit to a comedy festival, I want it to be fucking hard. I want it to be when I submit a clip, which you want to have the video camera rolling on it, like at least a 5-minute set of something will just kill. And that is tricky. Trying to kill is one thing, but getting on tape is something completely different. So that's something I'm going to try to do this year. And last, find love. Now, there's a reason why this is number 10. So, yeah, it's probably, I don't think it's that important, but, we'll see. Life happens. I mean, hell, I could, meet my quote-unquote future wife, like in the next 10 minutes when I walk outside to go to the grocery store. Who knows? But, I'm in no rush to get into any of that. And I feel like I shall warn you guys ahead of time that this is not how my voice sounds normally. Like right now, like the only reason why it sounds like deep and croaky, which I fucking love, is the fact I'm feeling a little sick right now. Unfortunately, I feel like I got a little bit of a cold. And like the only perk about getting a cold or a flu is, at least in my case, is I get this fucking awesome voice. It's like, yeah, baby. It's like, this is CNN. I wish like my voice would be like this all the time. And I wish I wouldn't have to get sick to sound this sexy. I really do. Because like normally my regular talking voice, you'll hear it later, is very airy and breathy. Like, like somebody described it as somebody mid-transition and you don't know which way they're going. So, I hate my voice, like my regular voice. Because whenever I talk, like people hear, hi, nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. But all I hear is, oh, yeah. So, anyway, holy shit. All right, goddamn, we're already at half an hour. Wow. So, anyway, thank you all for checking out this podcast. You can find me online at tonytelljoke.com. And you can also find me on socials at tonytelljoke on Twitter and Instagram. And I will come at you fast with a brand new episode. My first guest, the very hilarious and very deep Sue Costello. Stay tuned.